All right. So I ran into this issue with three.js and using cannon-debugger. I was trying to implement physics by following this little guide here, uh, but I was having some issues because I wasn't paying attention to the details. So I started Googling all over the place. I'm like, how do I load this thing in? How do I do the import? Because it didn't seem to error out at the import. I kept looking at examples of how other people are like importing theirs and this and that. And I eventually found the issue, but um, so I have this import map here. So I'm importing three cannon-es, cannon-es-debugger. These two worked without issue, didn't really have much trouble with it, but I've been struggling with this one for a bit, and it's something so stupid. Uh, I have my server.js here. It's listing for these for the cannon-es-debugger, and then calling client. I have the window event listener here, opening up this class. This class immediately initializes this, and then this pretty much pulls in everything that you need. So we have a bunch of three.js stuff, but mostly the physics for creating, it needs a world, and then it needs the scene. So it's linking up three.js, and then which is separate from the physics world. So two different worlds, syncing up one that's visual, one that's physics, right? So then we're making some ground, and then we're making a sphere, and then I don't think we do much else with physics until we get down to here. None of this is just me testing, like making sure that I'm in the right scope of this, and this is referring to the class that I'm in and not somewhere else or it's undefined or something. This isn't needed, none of this is needed. I could just type the values directly into here, but I was testing. Um, I commented out all this because I was like, there has to be something that I'm missing. Because I went to this Canon debugger. No, not that, right? Well, I went here, however I did it. And I was like, okay, it's importing this. It's a function. It's not a class. It doesn't have a constructor, but it has three different values that it's wanting me to pass in. And I was like, well, maybe the first time I tried, it was a scene in world. Maybe I wasn't doing the temp. Maybe it needed that, but it doesn't. I don't really quite understand this, and I hope to eventually, but I guess this is like, if you don't put in the third one, it still works. I'm assuming that's what that is. But I scrolled down here and I was like, okay, it's exporting as CannonDebugger as default. And I was like, as default, I have no idea what that means. Um, but I checked it and apparently it's this right here. Um, I had this error code. I think you can see it. Yeah. The requested module cannon-es-debugger does not provide an export named cannon-debugger. And I was like, yeah, it does. I went to the mappings and I was like, I got this folder structure right because sometimes you're like, oh, I put a period instead of one, or maybe I don't need any periods because of whatever folder hierarchy that we're going. Um, but that was right. This was right. Uh, what it was is this. Requested module does not provide an export named blah 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 occurs when mixing up default and named ES6 module imports and exports. So that was the hint. And then I found this MDN web docs. Go figure. Uh, it wasn't technically Stack Overflow or something this time. It was straight up the docs. Uh, Yeah, right here. Told me exactly what to do by showing helpers without the I'm blanking here, but these brackets or whatever. So this is the issue right here. It's in like ES6 deal, I guess. New version of JavaScript. I guess that's what you get when you just start Googling around and copy and pasting or not paying attention, because this will fix it if you load it in as this. I originally had it importing the same way Canon is, and it wasn't working that way, the asterisk for all or whatever. If I save this and reload it, boom, there you go. It works. What drives me crazy is knowing that this tutorial that I was following, um, he has it right there. I guess I just like, I saw all these other ones done like this that I just copied those instead of paying attention to the fact that this is completely different. That and he's doing like functions and global variables or something, and I'm doing like all class based, like nothing's outside of the class. But it was here and it's here. See, that's the way you're supposed to do it. Like if I would have just followed the documentation, I would have been fine. But um, that's the fix. If anyone else runs into that, my God, that was like hours. So thanks for watching, guys.